Okay, so we're gonna have some fun with a little Thanksgiving themed video here. Stuffing muffins. This could be a great way to use your leftover stuffing. This is actually a White Castle recipe that I've modified a little bit using White Castle sliders. These are the jalapeno cheese sliders. If you're a fan of White Castle, this is a must try. If you have ever had the White Castle stuffing, I've made that. I'm a big fan. That actually turned out way better than I thought it would when I did make it. These are basically going to be stuffing muffins, but since we're using the jalapeno cheddar sliders from White Castle, we're going to kind of kick things up with some jalapenos in the stuffing mix. We're going to put them into muffin cups along with a few other things. Show you how it turns out. So first we're going to take 6 sliders, jalapeno cheddar, and just kind of cut them up into good squares. And we'll just, you know, the meat, the cheese, the bread, all just kind of come into one collage here in the bowl. We'll set that aside and we'll get ready to prepare some veggies, which includes 2 jalapenos. So I threw on the gloves and we'll just kind of dice these up and we're going to saute these. But first, I am a wimp when it comes to heat. I like some heat, but not a lot. So this, of course, is up to you, but take out the seeds and the ribs, at least as much as, you know, as much as you want, or just leave them all in. It's completely up to you. Me, they're all coming out. And sometimes you just never know with a jalapeno too. Like, kind of just depends on where you get them, where it was grown, what the conditions were when it was growing. So many factors. So for me, we're getting rid of all the seeds and we're wearing gloves because, you know, you never know. A little bit of a dice. We'll go ahead and cut each half into half and half again, just so we can get some strips going here. And we'll bring them across this way. And you don't want huge chunks, but they don't need to be like completely diced into a fine dice or anything. Go like that. Take a look at them, because you got to think these are going to be muffins, right? So how big of a chunk of jalapeno do you want to bite down in your muffin? That's how far you would take them. I'm going to say we're just going to run through the pile here once or twice, because I don't want a huge chunk. So we'll just run the knife through a few times. In the meantime, on the stove, I got about 5 tablespoons of butter melting. See how that looks about right. Put these off to the side and chop up some green onions. These are going to join the jalapenos in the pan, and I'm going to use the white and the green part. The white part, again, you don't want a huge chunk of onion, most likely, so we're going to treat the white parts sort of a similar way. We'll just kind of let them break up, and these will get, you know, soft too. So now the recipe they had online at whitecastle.com, they have tons of recipes that you can do with sliders. Like I said, the most famous one has got to be just their regular dressing, their stuffing recipe, using the original sliders, no pickle. And it actually, like I said before, it actually is pretty good. The original recipe does have corn in this, which I like corn. I like cornbread. But just chunks of corn, you know, kernels of corn inside things, I'm just not a fan of. So, and it also had a poblano pepper to add to this. I just could not get one at the grocery store. So I would have added a poblano to this, and love the flavor of a poblano pepper. So let's go over to the stove and get this sauteed. Turn the heat down there. So yeah, this is about 5 tablespoons of butter. You got some chicken broth on standby right there. I've done some fun things, like I've made waffles out of the stuffing and kind of used that as like a Thanksgiving sandwich, you know, leftover sandwich. I've not made muffins though, so this would be a cool way to do that with leftover stuffing. And it doesn't have to be a White Castle kind of stuffing. It can just be your, you know, your family stuffing. I suppose it could even be the stovetop stuff. Not my favorite kind of stuffing, but yeah, some people like it. So we are going to come in with some salt. And pepper. And we'll let these go, you know, medium-low heat. Just want them to start to soften up. Almost treating this like you would celery and onions in a typical stuffing. So if you do like a little texture, a little crunch in the celery still, you know, don't go all the way with it. But if you kind of like it soft and just want that flavor, go a little longer with it. Okay, these are looking good. I'm going to kill the heat. And about a tablespoon of chili powder. That's what we're going to go for here. And as you can see, I'm not really measuring. I'm just kind of going by eye, but just kind of stir that in. Wake up that chili powder a little bit with that hot butter. Okay, so we're going to come in here. Grab our green onions, chili powder, butter, jalapenos, and just get that into the bowl with the chopped up sliders. And to that, we're going to add about a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, just regular old breadcrumbs. I'm going to grab a spoon here and just start spreading the love. Definitely getting a nice aroma of jalapeno. I don't know if it's from the jalapeno cheese or the sauteed jalapenos we just added. I can smell that chili powder too. Okay, that's good. And to that, we need to add 2 eggs. And 3/4 a cup of chicken broth. And we'll give that a stir. Make sure you break up those eggs. You could even beat them a little bit in a dish before you add them, but I think we're going to be okay. Now this is where you really want to make sure everything's getting nice and combined. If you're doing this with already made, you know, regular stuffing or leftover White Castle stuffing, you kind of do the same process, except, you know, you wouldn't need to saute the vegetables, right? That was just kind of like we're almost making our stuffing mixture and making the muffins. If you're just doing muffins for leftovers with Thanksgiving, then just some broth, some egg, and if it looks a little wet, then breadcrumbs. Stir, and then if it still looks a little wet, more breadcrumbs. In fact, I want to say we're going to need a little bit more breadcrumbs. So, sprinkle maybe another 1/4 of a cup or so. And you don't want it to be dry, but you don't want it to look really loose either. But this is definitely nice and combined. And I think we're ready to go make some muffins. And I'm just gonna grease them with a little bit of avocado oil. And you could do a little bit of butter too. I mean, olive oil would be fine as well. And I'm just gonna kind of, you know, make sure I grease the edges with the paper towel, just kind of spreading that around a little bit. Okay, and then I got a scooper so we can make sure we're evenly distributing here. I'm gonna go with a hefty scoop in each one and kind of see how much filling we have left. Hefty scoop, I guess we're going in that one. Change directions, mid scoop droppage. Overflowing scoop in. So it looks good. So I'm just going to kind of top them off a little bit. Maybe putting a good tablespoon more on each one. So 6 of them are done. I'm going to see, I probably can't even get 3 more, but. So in the oven, 350 degrees, 25 minutes. Okay, so here we go. All right, fresh out of the oven, just make sure we got some stable muffins, and it appears so. Dry and crispy a little bit on top. Just gonna let these cool off a little bit and we'll pop them out, give them a try. Okay, these have cooled down. Let's see. Yeah, these are good. Let's see if they come out of the muffin tin. Oh yeah, these are coming right out. Beautiful. Yeah, nice shape to them. These will be fine. Let me get these onto a plate. Okay, so these spicy slider muffins. We'll break one open here. About 25 minutes in the oven. Bits of green onion and jalapeno. With the jalapeno cheese sliders, I'm getting just, you know, some mild jalapeno flavor throughout. A little meatiness from the burger. Tiny, tiny bit of kick at the end. These are solid. Single serve. A little bit greasy from the butter, but you know, what are you gonna do with leftover stuffing? You're gonna eat it. This is a fun way to do it. I would like to try it with a little bit of the poblano pepper in there too. Quite tasty and a really fun way to do your Thanksgiving leftovers. Or just when you're making stuffing in the middle of January again. I'm Cooking with Chris. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments. Give the video a like and subscribe. More cooking content coming soon.